Hey y'all, hey, how you doing? Listen, I'm going to need the indigenous community to come to the front of the congregation and all of the $5 Indians and all the black people who wish they had indigenous ancestry so bad to the point that they're going to turn on their black people, on their own people, come to the front of the congregation. Now, Beyonce has pissed off the Native American community and all the people who are wannabe $5 Indians, right? Fake Indians, pretendians. She's pissed all of them off. Why? Because number one, people are pissed because they didn't pay attention in history class in school. Number two, people just don't like black people, right? And people want any excuse to spew anti Black rhetoric. And now it is the Native American community's turn, right? We've never done anything to the Native American community. Actually, Black people, from what I've seen, have always supported the Native American community to the point where they are wannabes. Y'all gonna get mad at me? I know. Most of you guys, your great great grandmother was Native, your great grandmother was Cherokee, your grandmother was Blackfoot, right? Uh, your great grandfather on your stepmother's side was a Tuckahoe, was a Seminole. Your great uncles, sisters, second cousin was Seminole. Your your daughter's baby daddy's your baby daddy's ex-wife's third cousin 3 times removed was Cree. Can we, like, black people, when are we going to stop it? When are we going to stop the nonsense? I'm just scrolling through social media and I'm shaking my head. I'm like, we are so lost as a people.
Friends thought about their own
I
ethnic
think
mixtures
there may be some connection there with the Taino Indians as well as.
and how much they still cling to age-old myths.
Okay, so Dennis has introduced the great claim that all African Americans I've met make, which is that their great grandmother had high cheekbones and straight black hair and was a Cherokee. How many of you guys think that you have Native American ancestry?
I do.
Like all these Negroes got.
Many black people want to believe that we are descended from ancestors other than Africans and Europeans.
But again,
The myth that we all have a Native American ancestor is one I encounter everywhere I go,
descended from an African man at all.
but statistics suggest otherwise.
People are laughing at us, literally laughing at us. We want to be everything but black. Don't get me wrong. Yes, there are people that are descendants of slaves who do genuinely have indigenous ancestry. Yes, there are some, but the claims, the actual claims, almost every black person I know, an African American actually, almost every African American I know, their grandmama was what's the other one? Was freedmen. Well, the freedmen, that's actually, we'll talk about it later. That's actually a real tribe. Yes, that one I'm aware of, and we'll dive into that later. I've met so many people. Yeah, they were all this Tuckahoe, Seminole, Cherokee. Cherokee's the big one. Iroquois. Growing up as a Haitian person, we never claimed that. We never claimed. We know on the island we had in Haiti in the West Indies. Yes, there were Taino people once upon a time, because everything, almost all the statues, a lot of our Creole words are actually Taino words. Yes, and yes, they did mix in with some of the slaves that marooned to the mountains to hide. Yes, okay, we are aware of that. Haitians are aware of that, and some of us do have Taino ancestry, but it's such a small amount because we have overcome slavery and race mixing so much as Haitians that the presence of indigenous ancestry in us is almost zero. It's there, it's just drowned out by African ancestry. But we recognize it's there. We pay homage to our Taino ancestors, right? That and they were there so long ago. It's so long ago. None of us Haitians have no grandmother, great grandmother. No, we just say way back, way back, and we see the presence. We still do practices. We see the history there. It's in us, but we are black first. We are African first. I need you African Americans to knock it off. Cut it out. Yes, I know your great grandmother had long silky hair. I know it. I know your cousin, your daughter, everybody. Yes, they had the curly hair. They got the good hair. That's what it all is. But you know that, I'm sorry, is European ancestry. It is most likely not indigenous ancestry. It is European ancestry. I'm going to stick in a video where Henry Louis Gates, a genetic researcher who does actual genealogy testing, has debunked the myth. It is a myth, you guys. Out of all the people he has tested, I've only can recall two people out of the thousands of black people and the celebrities he's tested. The only two I remember that actually had indigenous were Oprah, and she had a substantial amount, I believe 6 or 7%. That's a lot in ancestry. And I told you guys, I'm a researcher. I've studied genetics, I've studied molecular, I've been doing genealogy for over 20 years. So, Oprah, yes, and I believe it. And I believe Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker, those are the only people from what I can recall. There probably were others. Those are the only people. And even uh, Henry Louis Gates said it is a myth. And it's only claimed either because y'all want to be and look Indian so bad, number one, or number two, to basically deny the horrors of slavery and the rape that went on. That's another issue too. Anywho, so Beyonce, she's on tour right now for her Cowboy Carter tour. And during the Juneteenth tour date, she wore a shirt. Now, this is the shirt she wore, right? Buffalo Soldiers. If you guys remember who the Buffalo Soldiers were, I will read the back of her shirt to give you an idea, all right? They basically fought. Buffalo Soldiers were Wranglers. They were actually the first cowboys, and they were an all black regiment out west. And they actually were the I guess they were the advent of what we now know are park rangers, basically. So they were in the army and they later on became park rangers, but they did continue fighting after the Civil War. That's even what I remember in history and social studies, right? Buffalo Soldiers. And now the indigenous people are in an uproar because of a paragraph, a few sentences that were written on the back of Beyonce's shirt. Now, let me read it. I'm gonna stumble over this paragraph, but just bear with me and let's read together. Child, let me read this. I'm going to read some of this. We're just going to skim right through it. The Buffalo Soldiers. Blacks have played a far greater role in American military history than most people could ever imagine. Perhaps no other unit personifies both the remarkable achievements and significant obstacles that were overcome other than the Buffalo Soldiers. For a generation following the Civil War, two regiments of black cavalry, the 9th and 10th, served continuously on the western frontier. These units were comprised of black soldiers who wanted to remain in the United States Army after the Civil War. Their service on the Great Plains during these 20 years was as invaluable as it was unrecognized. In thousands of pages, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th Cavalry, great regiments all, rode and fought their way to glory, but the black troopers were usually dismissed with a bare mention. ignored completely or their efforts mocked. The regiments, commanded by white officers and operating under intense disadvantages, difficulty in obtaining officers, prejudicial treatment by higher army officials concerning equipment, assignments, and camp policy, and prejudice in frontier towns, nevertheless developed into remarkable fighting units during their extensive engagements on the southern plains. Did I skip a sentence? Because, child, listen, these 40-year-old eyes are failing me. I hope I didn't skip anything. Anyways, let's continue. All right. Called all sorts of names, most of them insulting by various groups, the men of these two regiments were dubbed Buffalo Soldiers by their Indian opponents. They were proud of this title, and the most prominent feature the 10th Cavalry's regiment's crest was the figure of a buffalo. This is the part that is having people up in arms. They're antagonists, right? And what do we know? Listen, for those who reading is fundamental, antagonist is your basically your enemy, all right? Their antagonists were the enemies of peace, order, and settlement. Warring, does that say warring Indians, bandits, cattle thieves, murderous gunmen, bootleggers, trespassers, and Mexican revolutionaries. All these they met many times and with success, regardless of extreme climate and terrain that ranged from the broken, rugged, and torrid Big Bend of Texas to the rolling plains, badlands, and some sub-freezing temperatures of South Dakota. All right, this is the part that has people up in arms. And they didn't say all Indians, warring Indians. Now, this is where history is important. It's important to look at and dissect history. What was going on at that time? You had the Indian Wars. So, if you are involved in a battle and you are a warring participant, then you are subject, right, to be eliminated in a war. This paragraph right here does not talk about civilians, they're talking about warring individuals. And as a Buffalo Soldier, if I were a Buffalo Soldier and I'm part of the United States Army, okay, and I am defending the land, the prairie lands, the badlands out west, westward ho, okay, and I knew that these what did you call them, the five civilized nations, okay, I'm a black person, I knew slavery, I know slavery is over, and I know that they did not release their slaves despite slavery being over. Oh, I'm whooping y'all indigenous ass. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You are part of this war. So that's what the war was about, you guys. A lot of the indigenous people, not all, a lot of them now are calling foul on Beyonce for wearing this shirt. They're trying to say, put words in her mouth that basically she's against um the indigenous people. This, it's selective outrage. Indigenous people, you want to be mad at somebody? Where's the energy for the white man that basically extinguished your race with yellow fever? Where's that energy? I see more hate for Beyonce. I see more hate for Beyonce than I've ever seen in my life from indigenous people, than I've ever seen smoke they have for the white man. No, you guys were waiting to spew anti black rhetoric. And black people, we have no friends. We have none. History shows it. So now they're trying to say, oh, the Buffalo Soldiers, who, from what I remember in history and from what I read, were well revered, well respected. The term Buffalo Soldiers came from indigenous people because of the way that they had their hair was curly, and they fought so fiercely like buffaloes. They were fierce fighters. So basically, the indigenous people were basically saying, kudos, you guys are some real warriors. They nicknamed them the Buffalo Soldiers. So they were fighting over land. I have a video I'm going to play. Again, before I play this, Black people, we do not have any friends. Even when we were owned, well, not we, well, yes, I put myself in that too. I am Black first. I am in the United States. So, yes, we were owned by Native Americans. And when they eventually were forced to free us from slavery, do you know they didn't even grant Black people citizenship into or basically enrollment into their tribes? They were anti-Black. They were anti-Black. So miss me with this bullshit now that y'all trying to say, oh, Beyonce, how could she? Do your research. Indigenous people and Black people, do your research. They don't like us. They're not feeling us like that. They're not feeling us. They have a term for us called wabo. Did you know that? Black people, y'all look stupid. Yeah, I'm indigenous. I'm this. I'm that. No, no. They're not feeling us. They won't touch us with a 10-foot pole. They will not. But they were ready and willing to sleep with the white man. They were ready and willing. Did y'all see that movie? There is a good movie. I forgot it's about the Osego or something like that. That was a really good movie. And again, the white man stole all their oil. So there was an Indian tribe out west. I forgot, Oswego or something like that. They hit oil. The white people wanted a chunk of that. They wanted a piece of that. They were the richest group, the Native Americans out there. I believe it was in Oklahoma or somewhere out there. They were the richest group, I believe, at that time in the world. The white people wanted some of that. So what did they do? They married them. They married into that tribe. Not because they were so in love with them, to get that munyan. And you know what they did? After they married them, they would kill them off. It's a very good movie. Damn, I'm going to stick it in here. I advise you all to watch that movie. It was very sad. Anyways, they were ready and willing to sleep with the white man. Us Blacks, they didn't want to touch us with a 10-foot pole. And y'all sitting here swearing up and down, I'm Cherokee. No, you're not. Science. You cannot disprove science. Science doesn't lie. Yours truly, a whole scientist. Now watch these videos to get some history lessons. And then we're going to see these indigenous people just going in on Beyonce. Going in on Beyonce. For what? I don't know. Just to do it, just because she's a Black woman.
Chickasaw Nation Freedmen Roll.
This document is an official enrollment card for the Chickasaw freedmen, the former slaves owned by the Chickasaw Nation.
Owned by the Chickasaw Nation.
Owned by the Chickasaw Nation. Your ancestors were enslaved by Native Americans. Here's your great-great-grandmother, Mary Kemp, her 11 children, including Bill Cheadle, your great-grandfather, William. And you can see William's father, Henderson, or Hence Cheadle. You are one of the few African Americans who was not enslaved by white people, enslaved by Native Americans.
I don't know how I feel about that. It's crazy because really you feel like, oh, the two biggest blights on the way this country started, you know, slavery and the genocide of the Native Americans and the Trail of Tears and all of those horrible stories of what has happened to the Native people here. And then our family was owned by people who had suffered. It's just, that's mind-blowing.
Most people don't realize that the Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, Choctaw, and Chickasaw nations owned slaves. As self-governing entities, they weren't subject to the laws of the United States. So what did this mean for Don Cheadle's ancestors? When the Civil War ended, the 5 civilized tribes kept their slaves. They refused to liberate their slaves.
Everybody wanted to roll with the slavery thing as long as they could.
That's right. They said, come and get them.
Yeah, you gotta take my slave.
You got, yeah.
Pry it from my cold, dead hand.
And I had no idea.
I had neither. This is amazing.
The United States government didn't make a treaty with the Chickasaw until 1866, forcing them to liberate their slaves and make them citizens. The Chickasaws freed their slaves, but they did not offer them citizenship in the Chickasaw Nation.
Are they honorary white people? I mean, what's going on here?
Don, your ancestors were in Indian territory, yet they were neither Chickasaw nor were they Americans. They were a people without a country and without any legal status at all.
That's crazy.
The Chickasaw freedmen would spend decades in this stateless limbo, invisible and forgotten. The African American people wear racial mixture right on their faces. And the greatest percentage of our admixture comes from European ancestors. But for some reason, it's much easier for us to imagine another source.
He knew his grandmother, Elizabeth Redmond, and he said she was a full-blooded Cherokee.
Like almost all African Americans I know, my relatives are convinced that we have Native Americans in the family.
This is Lucy's sister, and she had hair down to her knee. I thought she looked, like a Native American.
And that's, like I said, that was my mom, and she wore 70s headbands.
Oh, that's your mom?
In the 70s,
Oh,
she
your
looked
mom's
like,
cool.
Everyone thought she was Native American.
I have a little Choctaw Indian in my background.
She looked like an Indian woman. She looked like, like straight off the prairie.
They talk about the cheekbones and
Yeah, you do have high cheekbones.
yeah.
She always had long black hair, and so that's Indian hair.
But I've long been suspicious of these stories. How could so few Native Americans sleep with so many African slaves? That's why I've asked the geneticist, Dr. Mark Shriver, to put these rumors to the test.
Now we're going to go on to Tina Turner. Her family reports indigenous American ancestry.
Oh, yeah.
Tina grew up believing that two of her grandparents were part Native American. But you're only 1% Native American. You know how your family has always thought that you had all this Native American heritage?
Yes.
It was white heritage that you had.
All this time, I've been thinking Indian. I was dying to find out what tribe it was.
You're from the tribe of Europe.
Wow.
And I'm 3% Native American. So I got just a little Indian in me.
You got a little Indian in you. 0% Native American. And 0% Native American.
There you go.
And 0% who were Native American.
We're gonna have to tell the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma now that I misrepresented myself. I'm not Choctaw at all,
And you'll see there's no figure for Native American because you ain't got no Native American.
Set the record straight.
Even Don Cheadle, who we would expect to have some Native American ancestry
From
because
that background.
because of the connection to the Chickasaw, members of your family owned by Native Americans. But we don't find any.
Wow.
And you're not alone in not having any measurable Native American ancestry. 1 in about every 20 African Americans only 1 in 20 has any significant amount of Native American ancestry.
So apocryphal. Yeah. No. Turns out they didn't really dig you that much.
You notice the white t-shirt Beyoncé wore during her tour? She probably didn't realize she made a serious mistake. Aren't you curious why that simple white tee from the Cowboy Carter tour caused such a big mess? At first, most people didn't get what she was trying to say, but once they looked closer at the shirt's design and the words printed on it, things blew up fast. It might seem like just a basic t-shirt, but there's actually a lot more behind it, so much that it even got her canceled by her own fans. If you look closely, the shirt has a picture of a buffalo soldier on the front. At first glance, it looks like she's honoring black military history. After all, buffalo soldiers were among the first black men to serve in the U.S. Army. But here's the twist. They also fought in the Indian Wars, siding with colonizers against Native American tribes. Now think about it. People came to enjoy a concert, not to be reminded of a controversial part of history, so it's no surprise that some felt offended. Honestly, Beyoncé might not have even realized the full impact of it in that moment. But what really shocked people was the writing on the back of the shirt. It mentioned things like hostile Indians, bandits, cattle thieves. You can imagine how that didn't sit well with folks. A lot of people felt it was disrespectful toward indigenous indigenous communities and maybe even promoted harmful stereotypes. Beyoncé's usually super careful with her image, especially when it comes to social issues. That's why this felt so out of character. Maybe her heart was in the right place, but her delivery? Definitely off. What do you think? Was it just a misstep or something she really needs to address?
From a fucking celebrity, especially somebody like you. But I'm glad that now we see you for who you really are, and we see everything for what it really is. You said what you said, you did what you did, now stand on that shit. Kidnap y'all and bring you back in chains. That wasn't us. We're not the ones that slaved y'all out for 400 years. We were the ones standing next to you while they were slaving y'all out. That was the most...
Beyonce supporting genociders just because they are black? I wish I could say I was surprised. I'm gonna need all the motherfuckers who said Beyonce's American propaganda was subversive to come to the front. Because y'all looking really dumb right now. She released a statement in support of the Buffalo Soldiers, who were black soldiers that were named Buffalo Soldiers after Native Americans who they hunted. She even had the audacity to release a statement calling Native Americans enemies of peace, order, and settlement. Also fighting off Mexican revolutionaries. This is American imperialist and settler colonial propaganda in blackface. Mexican revolutionaries, just as those ICE raids was happening, and the day after we go to war with Iran. I need y'all to be wake the fuck up. I just made a video about how America wants black people to be patriots so they'll fight and die for this country, and this shit just came out. The sad part is a lot of black Americans are gonna eat this shit up and defend her anyways because her stands for Beyonce and they're too tied to black identity that they can't even see that they're working against it. Service of white supremacy. Golly.
Native TikTok. I just woke up and brushed my teeth and everything. My voice sound raspy. Beyonce is on the wrong side of America this morning. I was tagged in a post where she said the indigenous communities in this country are enemies of peace. Ma'am, excuse me, your mother's a Creole woman. She probably has indigenous ancestry. She's not completely African. She's not completely French, none of that. Creole in Louisiana is indigenous African and French, to my understanding. So a little bit of self-hatred went in there as well. Indigenous community, don't let that upset you. These celebrities are saying just anything. They are too far removed from reality. They've been rich for too long, and when you put a camera on them, they just start spewing everything. This is the same person who has done country and pop and everything else. I told y'all last year, I don't agree with the way that she sampled my Princess Loco song, but Tommy's in charge of that, so I don't have no say in that. Princess Loco was notoriety before that song, but now her music has been turned into pop rave music, and I can't... Anyway, don't let it upset you. Focus on comments from the educated and not the ones who just saying whatever because they running out of stuff to say.
Americans are not going to be resolved of accountability. You don't know your own history, so you get confused when black people talk about ours. The Buffalo Soldiers were fighting for the United States. Y'all was fighting for the Confederacy. Y'all don't want to talk about how the Chickasaw, the Creek, the Cherokee all signed documents with the Confederacy, owned slaves, and voted to keep Jim Crow fucking laws. You niggas is not well. You are not well. Y'all was just as bad as them white folks, and you want me to be mad that you participated in a genocide? You participated in terrorism, the demise of black people, and participated in the enslavement and the chattel slavery of blacks, as well as segregation and racism to conform to the white man. Y'all niggas is just as bad, please.
So first, black people were settlers, right? Y'all remember the girl that said black people were settlers? Then had to backtrack and say, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Now, because Beyonce wore a Buffalo Soldiers t-shirt, she agrees with the genocide of natives. I don't know what's going on, but the way that y'all are not taking into account of African American pain and struggles and the things that we had to do to survive post chattel slavery is genuinely disgusting to me. I'm tired of y'all trying to make black people look like we are oppressors in this country. It's really getting to a point, and I need y'all to stop. What we not finna do is get on the Buffalo Soldier. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Like, we're not doing that because y'all are not providing context. Like, y'all aren't doing.
It's crazy to me how I'm seeing a lot of indigenous people get on this app and talk about the whole Beyonce discourse, and what was on the back of the shirt. You do understand that it was a white man that called you that. No, this is not a who said that moment. I said that. You know that it was a white man that called you that. See, this is why I say Beyonce has given us history lessons with Renaissance, just all in all. She gives us a history lesson. And I can tell with some indigenous people that I have seen and black people, some white folk, whatever the case may be, that y'all clearly failed history because y'all don't pay attention. Y'all don't pay attention. She does it. She's done it in this whole entire Cowboy Carter concert by giving a history lesson, showing us things, which what will make us think, which will do what will make us go research, which a lot of you don't freaking do. That message that was on the back of her shirt, that was what the white man, she's not supporting anything. She is giving you all a history lesson to go look up the Buffalo Soldiers and the indigenous and what happened. Take a look. And then go into a deeper hole to find out that there were some indigenous tribes that owned slaves. There were some indigenous tribes who wanted to keep Jim Crow alive. Take a look, people. It's not rocket science. Critical thinking is a thing that some of you lack. And that's why I say some of you have the brain the size of a mustard seed. But see, you want to try to find anything to hate a black woman. Anything, especially Beyonce. You are more mad at that than you are mad at the white man who is dividing us. That white supremacy that is dividing. You're more mad at that. How about you be mad at some of the people in your community, in the indigenous community, that voted for Trump, that want to continue to align themselves with whiteness? How about you be mad at that? Instead of sitting up here attacking Beyonce and not doing your own freaking research, how about you say, you know what? I appreciate that. But here's another thing that's going to probably your head. How come y'all don't have this energy for Bob Marley, even though Bob Marley is gone, but still, you do realize that he made a song called Buffalo Soldier. It's a fake outrage. It's a fake outrage. Y'all are more mad at a black woman than you are mad at this administration. You are more mad at a black woman than you are mad at the white supremacy tactics that were used to do these things. You are more mad at Beyonce than your own community that voted for this administration. It's bull. It's bull. It's like, God dang, pick up a book and read. I swear, I wish the internet would just crash completely so people can go to the library and get a book because it's needed. God dang.
So I really hope after all this, Beyonce does not fold and fucking apologize to the Native American community, because all I see is black people apologizing to every community. Who is going to apologize to us? Are the Native Americans going to apologize for not setting us free when slavery was was declared illegal, when slavery was declared over, and the American Indians and the tribes refused to release the enslaved black folk When are you guys going to apologize for that? When are you going to apologize for the people who are claiming, for the black people who are claiming to be indigenous? You guys are calling them names like Wabos. Let me find that and stick it in here. You're calling them names, racial names all over the internet. Where's the apology for that? Where's the apology for after you guys did release the enslaved black people? They were wandering, they were tribeless, they were nameless, landless. You contributed to the disenfranchisement of black people post war, post Civil War, post slavery. Where's the apology for that? But yet you're up in arms because of a shirt commemorating Buffalo Soldiers, our black people who were fighting for us, who were fighting for a government that had no regard for them. And yet they still did their job. You guys were in a war. I don't see any history annals where they were just slaughtering. Now they're trying to trump it up to a genocide. I don't see that. They were in a war. I don't see outright slaughtering of civilians. All I see is battles with like Geronimo and all that stuff. But in every war, there will be casualties. The black people, they're acting like the Buffalo Soldiers were Hitler and just going around exterminating people. That's not what happened. So we need you guys to stop being revisionist historians and stop being selectively outraged and being performatively outraged. Go crack a book open, learn the history. This is your history in the United States. How am I Haitian and I knew American history? I knew that Native Americans had black slaves. They owned slaves as well. And she did not say out of her mouth those words about the Native Americans. It was a quote, actually, like I just posted, written by a black man. Oh, a white man, sorry. Go look it up. Why don't you guys go and Google the paragraph? Look at the context. But no, it's performative. You just wanted a reason to join the bandwagon on anti-black hate. You wanted a reason to join. You wanted a reason to join any little thing. I urge everybody, go watch Killers of the Flower Moon. Go watch that. Killers of the Flower Moon. That was an excellent, excellent movie. It's a true story. I want to see y'all had more smoke for Beyonce than for the historical figures in Killers of the Flower Moon. What they did was abhorrent. Like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe what they did to those Indian families. I want to see outrage for that, not for no Buffalo Soldiers. Are you guys going to cancel Bob Marley too? He had a whole song dedicated to Buffalo Soldiers. I've heard that term for years throughout history. I've never heard it be negative. And I know Beyonce knew that too. She did not expect a backlash. But now everybody wants to get at black people. Everybody. It makes zero sense. Even Kenya Moore, she wore a Native American headpiece for some, I don't know, something on the show. Do you know the Native American community came at her? Basically, take that shit off. You have no business wearing that. It was like a costume. She was playing. Kenya Moore was paying homage to her Native American ancestry. Kenya Moore actually has, that's what she said, family members who live on reservations. So Kenya Moore's family is registered. If her family lives on a reservation, then her family is registered on some kind of rolls, Dawes roll, I don't know, but they're registered in some tribe somewhere. Not many black people can say that. Sorry, you guys. Let me talk to the black people. Black people, we got to do better. We're not native. We're not native. And even if I was 15% native, I wouldn't want to claim it. I don't want to because they don't like us. They're not like us. They don't see it for us. They're not checking for us. I'll freaking claim the 8% Scottish I got than the 3% indigenous I got, which it might even be null. Who knows? Black people, you guys are upwards of 25-30% average European. Why do you cling on, if you have any, why do you cling on to the 1-2-3% like Dominicans? Why? They're not checking for us. It's obvious. Look at this fake backlash that Beyonce got. They're not checking for us. Knock it off. We're embarrassing ourselves. So, in conclusion, Native Americans, leave Beyonce alone. She's right. She's right. To those black people who are bootlicking and defending the indigenous Americans, if it were the other way around, they would not be defending you. So y'all need to knock it off. Black people, we need to just accept the fact that the dark, silky, long hair that your great great aunt on your mother's side 3 times removed had, that's European ancestry. We just have to grapple with that. We have to make peace with that. Okay? It's European ancestry. The silky hair, y'all, the yaki hair that your aunt got, that your mom got, that your grandmother got. It's European, sorry. And I say this as a person who has a mother and a grandmother with long ass silky hair. I showed y'all pictures of I'm not speaking like from a viewpoint of a bald-headed scallywag. My whole family got hair. My whole family got hair. Bra length, waist, what is it called? Waist length, tailbone length, wavy hair. We all got it. We all got it. We never say, oh, it's the indigenous. No, no. We just say it. Actually, we just say it's Haitian hair. We just say it's Haitian hair. It's Haitian hair. We got to stop. Beyonce, don't you dare apologize or else we're folding. We fold to every group. That's why every other group can pile on us because they know we're going to fold and apologize as well. I know she's going to apologize. I know it. We always fold. Why can't we be like the Jewish people and just be defiant and be like, oh, no, fuck you? See, I respect them for that. I respect them. They don't give a fuck. They don't. Black people, we always folding and apologizing. Absolutely not. I stand with Beyonce. And I don't want to hear anything. Oh, Beyonce got Native American as well. Shut up. Every other day, she's a black girl. She's a black woman. But now the indigenous people want to cherry pick. Oh, but she has indigenous herself. No. Listen, in the United States, that one drop rule is still in effect. Beyonce, I don't care, Creole, whatever. Yeah. Creole just means you have a little bit more admixture than the average black person. That's what I think. Creole, you just a little more mixter, but you still black. Blackity black. And I'm black. You black. Put the native to the side. They not seeing this for us. We wobbles. Y'all wobbles.
So this is Red Thundercloud. He's a African American that posed as a last fluent speaker in chief of the Catawba Nation. He was later exposed for being a fraud, and this is what led to the downfall of his career. A lot of people think that there's no black pretendians that are famous. Well, here's one of them. And here's just a little bit about him. Go ahead and repost this.
What do y'all think? I know you guys are going to come in my comments. Some people know it's true. I'm on the Dawes roll. I'm on the Freedmen roll. Newsflash, the Freedmen was what do you call it? They were roles for formerly enslaved black people who were enslaved by indigenous. So they created their own tribe. Those are made up tribes, you guys. That doesn't mean you're indigenous. You're black. It's just a made up one to show that you were formerly owned by the Native Americans. Also, Lumbee tribe. Lumbee tribes are not indigenous, you guys. That's another one that's popular. They're not indigenous. Please do your research, you guys. Don't have us out here looking dumb and stupid. Do your research. Do your research. Read a book.